Hey guys, and welcome back to Cakes by Crystal. Today we are making a Wild One safari themed first birthday cake. It's going to be two tiers, and I'm working on the 6-inch now, just getting a crumb coat on it. This birthday cake is for one of my loyal customers. She had twin boys, and this is their first birthday. She's also the customer that I did my first wedding cake for. She trusted me to do her wedding cake. It turned out beautiful, and I have been thankful for her continued support. Um, and as I said in my previous videos, I do not put a lot of icing in between my layers. I like to have a good icing to cake ratio, and if you've had American buttercream, you know that it can be sweet. But I do typically do 2 to 3 crumb coats. It does take longer, but I have found that if you do more layers, thin layers of icing, that the icing tends to hold on to the cake a lot better than doing one crumb coat and then a thick layer of icing. I've never had icing fall off the side of my cake. So I've just kept with the same process because it works. And you'll see while I'm doing the 6-inch that I do have a bigger cake board under it. I take the 6-inch cake board and I tape it down to a larger cake board. That way it's easier to turn and easier to work with while you ice it, because the smaller the cake is, the harder it is to work with, because it doesn't hold as much weight, so it tends to slide around a lot. And I'm just putting the second coat on my 8-inch cake. Um, And when I went to add the third coat, because the cake's actually going to be white, so when I went to add the third coat, I realized that I needed to make another batch of icing because I needed to have at least one more coat on the outside. And some people trim the outside of their cake layers so you don't see the darkness, but I've never done it, and I say if it's not broke, don't fix it. And if there's any videos that you guys would like to see on how to specifically do something, or if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below and I'll be glad to address that for you in a separate video. And you'll see that I work with multiple different tools to smooth my icing out. But while I was making another batch of buttercream, which can take a little while, I went ahead and started making some of the fondant pieces for the cake. Um, and you would think that this is super easy to make because it's a mold or like a stamp, but they can be hard to deal with sometimes. Um, Doing the leaves for this cake alone took me probably about 45 minutes um, just to do the leaves. You'll see at the end of the video, originally I had what I thought was a lion sitting in the front in the middle of the cake. And as I was putting the cake together, I'm looking at it and I'm saying something is not right about this lion. And as I look closer, I'm like, well, there's supposed to be stripes. You could see where the mold had stripes. And I'm looking, and then I figured out about an hour before I was supposed to deliver this cake that what I thought was a lion was actually a zebra. Now, how I got that messed up, I'm not sure, but that's exactly what happened. So you will see where I add the lion, and then in the last photo, when the cake is finished, you'll see that the lion has been removed, and I had made the zebra just in time for delivery. And you notice how white the icing is. Um, if you whip your butter for at least 20 minutes on high speed and, scrape down the sides of your mixing bowl several times, your butter will turn white and it makes for a really pretty color. Um, the only bad thing is if you once you've added your sugar and whatever wet ingredient you used, if you let it whip too long after that, it becomes very airy. It makes it really hard to scrape to get all the air bubbles out. So I usually take a spatula and whip it around a little bit to try to knock some of the air out. And at this moment, my 4-year-old is sitting next to me in a chair. She loves to watch me decorate cakes, and she's all the time wanting to help. And I'm trying to explain to her that these are paying customers. Um, she doesn't grasp that fact yet. She thinks, well, if mommy's baking or cooking, that she can just help. Um, but she is literally right next to me trying to get involved. I love her sitting next to me and learning because she loves to learn so much. But it's terrifying sometimes because you're just so worried that she's going to accidentally hit it, which she has done before on purpose because she wanted to eat cake. I had to redo the cake. Now you can see I used 3 different colors for my leaves. Um, and I think 4 or 5 different types of leaves. It's good to add some variety in there and different variety of colors as well. And what I'm doing with the paintbrush, I'm just adding a little bit of water. That's what I use to get my fondant to stick. I just use water. Some people buy edible glue. Um, it's just not an expense that I think is needed. Water has always worked for me, so I've just stayed with that. Oh, there you see. There's my little lion. Guys, it doesn't even look like a lion. I don't even know what I was doing. It's hard sometimes to tell what the molds are. There's my zebra. And thank you guys for watching another video. If you watched to the end, please leave a comment.